Good morning, America. Welcome to the Morning Report, the home of truth, courage, and independence. My name is Willie Lawson, and today kicks off a special week of shows asking you to support independent conservative media. We're calling this first episode, The Truth is Not Funded by the State. Why independent media matters. Because let's face it, we're in a war for information, and truth has been the first casualty in the age of government-backed narratives and billionaire-driven censorship.
He did not.
Did you fire a bunch of air traffic controllers?
I did not, Senator.
Did Mr. Musk do that?
He did not.
Where'd all this stuff come from?
So there were about 350 probationary employees at the FAA that were let go, and we're trying to stream. Whether there's 46,000 people that work at the FAA, so this was a minuscule percentage. But even air traffic controllers who were probationary employees were excluded. All safety positions were preserved at the FAA, including air traffic controllers. And so I think it's a narrative that some in media and in politics have tried to drive as if we're not focused on safety. But I have been crystal clear, and I think I've said this until my face is blue, though it's not today, but it could be because we did not actually fire any air traffic controllers, Senator. We've been hiring air traffic controllers.
You ever heard of the Global Engagement Center? Well, it's a U.S. State Department office. It's tasked with fighting foreign misinformation. But who decides what counts as misinformation? Well, as it turns out, it's often just any conservative voice that contradicts the current regime. You remember, during COVID, countless independent doctors, researchers, even parents were deplatformed for simply questioning school closures or vaccine mandates. I'm afraid that wasn't science. It was political protectionism. Now, government grants, we find out that are flowing into, of course, organizations like NPR and PBS and Politico even. They don't just shape the stories. They create the echo chamber. And the cost of that echo chamber is our trust. Now, we don't have federal funding. And independent outlets have to hustle because we only survive because you choose to keep us alive.
No schooling, no money, and so I learned at an early age, be an encourager. You walk into a place and the homely little girl running the cash registers there go, "Oh, I love your hair, that's so pretty." Doesn't cost you a thing, made her day. Made her day that somebody saw her, that somebody noticed. And so my whole life, I'm like, crap, Mr. Cathy, that's a great thing. And what it does is it teaches you to see the good in things instead of the bad in things.
All right. It's easy to be sad sack, but let's talk victories and why this is important. Independent media has been at the tip of the spear in exposing the corruption at Planned Parenthood, the border crisis, DEI scams in public schools, the Ukraine aid with no oversight, ESG infiltration of investment funds. Did the mainstream media cover any of this stuff early? No. Not until they were forced to by independent reporting. People like James O'Keefe, Tucker Carlson, post-Fox, Cheryl Atkinson. I saw her at Right Online in 2015. Amazing. Just knocked the place out. Podcasts like Breaking Points have carried the weight legacy media has dropped. And let's not forget the rise of platforms like Rumble. This podcast is on Rumble too. Substack, and locals, because people are hungry for some unfiltered truth. However, here's something that we all need to understand. The truth doesn't pay unless people value it. Independent journalists don't have million-dollar endowments. They don't get corporate ad money from Pfizer or BlackRock or Microsoft. And they sure don't get sweetheart deals from the federal government. What keeps us going? We've been doing some version of the morning report. Started off with the Rational Black Man show and the Willie Lawson show since 2018. Excuse me, 2008. March 25th, I believe it was, 2008. So what keeps us going? You. Your donations, your subscriptions, your reviews, your shares, your comments. That's the economy of the truth. That's the new media marketplace. So when you support independent outlets like Morning Report, like Fight Back Media, like those who dare to speak outside of the Beltway bubble, you're voting for freedom of thought.
At 7 Weeks Coffee, every sip defends life. We give 10% of every sale to pro-life pregnancy centers across America. Drink coffee with conviction, because your brew should stand for something.
However, here's the dark truth. If we stop supporting independent media, the only voices left will be state-sponsored or corporately scripted. We'll go back to being fed half-truths by people who think you're too stupid to decide for yourself. We'll live in a world where Google tells you what you're allowed to search for, where YouTube decides what's safe, where your kids only hear one worldview in school. But we can change that. It isn't by asking permission, because that was the whole idea. The whole idea was like, so maybe we can get, we can fool the algorithm and play all these games. That was never ever the way out. I often mention this. My first real interview with anybody of any import was Andrew Breitbart. I remember Andy telling me in this interview, and by the way, I'll put the interview up. I think it's already up on YouTube. He was great. I was awful, just ungodly. But I listened to it again and again because the gems that Andy shared with me that day have been the dilithium crystals that have kept the USS Fightback Media going for years. He said to me, whoever controls the narrative controls everything, basically. And that there was only two ways to make a real difference. Somebody would have to go in and buy NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, fire everybody, and start again. Or they could start building their own. And that's what he was doing when he died. He was building Breitbart into something special. I have no doubt, had he still been, if he was still alive, there would be Breitbart TV. No doubt. It was coming. And Breitbart TV would be in all of everything that is new and important. It would be politics, it would be entertainment, it'd be sports, it'd be everything. Because it was a way to get to people with the other side or a different narrative. So what a lot of us out here have been doing, and we've been doing it sort of, I don't know, in guerrilla war fashion, is starting to build our own. Now, we've seen some corporate wins like Newsmax and America One or One America, whatever that's called, um, frankly, seems a little less serious than Newsmax. My friend Kim McClinton kind of started all of that for me with his introduction of the Exceptional Conservative TV network that I was a part of, and a number of other people. You've heard of Melanie Collette; she was part of it, and of course Ken McClinton. Oh, and Ken, if you happen to see this or someone tells you about it, please someone tell him. Please get well soon, and we are praying for you, and we care about you. But Ken was way ahead of the game on this. He took that message from Andy Breitbart like the rest of us did, and he ran with it. The idea is not to ask for permission. The idea is to build something better, and that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, here's the deal. We don't just need listeners or viewers, but because we do. We need defenders. We need people to get some skin in the game. So this week, I'm asking you to do something for us. I'm asking you to pick 3 independent conservative outlets. Follow them, subscribe to them, support them financially, even if it's just like $5 a month. For instance, you could follow our Patreon page for $3 a month. Or the Swanson Report. I think you can follow that on Not Locals. He's on Substack for like $3 a month. It makes a difference. My YouTube channel has 866 subscribers. If 400 of them, a little less than half, would submit $3 a month, it's $1,200 a month. That would make a huge difference in the quality of the broadcast, in the things that we're able to do. At $1,200 a month, yes, I'd be able to waddle my fat butt on Spirit Airline and go to Washington for you, or go to DC, or go to Dallas or Boston or wherever. Because collectively we can do some really big things. It would make a huge difference. Share episodes, articles, or posts on your social media. Rate and review your favorite podcast. This podcast is on all the places where you find podcasts. On iHeart Radio, it's on Spreaker, it's on Spotify, it's Amazon, is everywhere, right? Pray for the strength of those in the fight. We don't have lobbyists. We only have you. The Morning Report exists because of people like you.